Mike Lowell, kind enough to join us, MLB Network analyst. He won 2 World Series titles, and he was the '07 World Series MVP. Mike, congrats. That was great TV last night. And the fact that you followed up and called Xander Bogaerts and got even more information. But can you try to capsulize what happened on that play that we wouldn't have seen as just baseball fans?
Well, thank you, Dan. I appreciate the kind words. It's always a benefit when the head coach, the manager, is one of your best friends. So I actually called Alex Cora, to congratulate him. And I said, we're going to do a breakdown, Cliff and I. And what we noticed is Xander keeps looking to third. And, Fenway's a very different type park. Center field is much shallower. The ball caroms off that wall so much harder than normal parks. So I said, is he looking at Devers? Because sometimes, when I was playing third, you'd kind of point, because you don't hear 4-4-4. You don't, you got to be looking. And I said, or is he looking at Phil Nevin? And he goes, well, Xander's right next to me. I'll put you on speaker. So I was like, oh, wow, how great is this? So I asked him, he's like, I'm looking at Nevin. And I found that to be so unique because, guys run through stop signs all the time. So to look at what the third base coach was doing, I thought was really special because his other thing is right before he's pointing at Christian Arroyo to stay on second base as the second cut guy, because if he's holding Judge, they want to keep the double play in order or have a play at second if Stanton goes for the double. So there were so many components to that I was like, man, this is fascinating. We got to, kind of bring maybe the fan into it. And the fact, it's a playoff game, so we have so many different camera angles. When they show the one from above, where it really shows him looking at Judge touch second, going to third, and then really staring at Nevin to the point where he's still looking at him and Kike's ball's in the air. So that was really cool for me. And Kike's ball was a good short hop. You don't want to get that in between hop. He put his feet perfectly. He saw that Stanton wasn't going. They were waving Judge. The transition was perfect. And it was a huge part of the game too. He's safe at home and it's 3-2, 1 out runner on second. I think all the momentum that the Red Sox had really would have changed there.
And he's not known as a great fielder, had the big home run as well. But once again, to put this in layman's terms, what Mike was talking about and how fascinating it was, Bogaerts is going to get the relay. He's looking at the third base coach, and the ball is in the air, and he's looking at Phil Nevin, and then looks back, presence of mind, scoop it off the bounce, and then turn and throw because he knows that he's going home. I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was great inside baseball and something that I never would have thought of, because I think everybody thought, should he have sent him? The Yankees are very aggressive. Phil Nevin's an aggressive third base coach, and he sends Aaron Judge, and you even said he's got plus speed. What was it the wrong move, though? If you look at the situation, we know what the end result is, Mike. Was it wrong on Phil Nevin to send him in that situation?
I don't think so. And my main reason for saying that is there weren't no outs, so I don't want the first out being at home plate. And even though your cleanup hitters, the next guy up, Joey Gallo's hitting $160 for you. He's a big strikeout guy. And not to say, well, look, I told you. So he ends up popping to short left field, So I don't know if the Yankees have the confidence in Gallo, Torres, and the guys that follow him after that. So I got to push the button a little. And going back to your point, Dan, the way Judge gets on is kind of a chopper to Xander Bogaerts that he beats out. So that's kind of been the analytics knock on Xander Bogaerts. He doesn't have those great numbers on defensive run saved, but that play never comes up in the analytics. And it's literally he's saving a run, and it'll never come out. It'll come out as, hey, he handled a good relay and made a good throw, which a lot of shortstops can do. But in that situation, I don't think a lot of shortstops take into account everything that went on in that play.
You can watch Mike Lowell and Major League Baseball Network, the two-time World Series champ. He was the MVP of the 2007 World Series MVP. And you can watch MLB Central at 11 a.m. Eastern, plus MLB Network will exclusively air Game 2 between the White Sox and the Astros. That'll be tomorrow afternoon. The Dodgers last night, it didn't seem fair that either one of these teams was going to lose. What do you take away from that game if you're Dave Roberts and the Dodgers, and subsequently the Giants watching what happened last night?
Well, I think it sets up for a great rivalry, Dodgers Giants for the NLDS. I think it would have been a crying shame that a team that wins 106 games during the regular season, goes home after one. Not that I was rooting for them, I just for the integrity of playing 162, and I'm more of the advocate of the TV must-see elimination game. It's fantastic. I was glued to the TV with Yankees Red Sox. I was glued last night. It hurts me to think that you put in 6 months of work and you play 10 times the games that a football team does, and it comes down to one. I don't like that. I would much prefer a 2 out of 3. But what I did take away from that, Dan, is the Dodgers bullpen is pretty good.
Yeah.
Because Max Scherzer, for me, the aces, what really makes an ace is when they don't have their good stuff, do they still grind it out? And Max Scherzer was a little off, and he still grinds out 1 run, just over, 5 1/3. He lays it off to the bullpen, and that combination, Joe Kelly's been on fire. Kenley Jansen looks great again. Trinan was fantastic. They got a lot of arms that come postseason, you play 2 games in an off day. You play another 2 games in an off day. So you can get rest, and the same guy can, in a 5-game series, he can throw 4 games. In a 7-game series, he can throw 5 games. So I think Dave Roberts has to be really happy with his options that he can go to after his starters. They're so loaded anyways. I mean, the depth really shows with that team.
Yeah, and I wonder if you polled a baseball fan who didn't have a rooting interest, what's the matchup you want? Dodgers-Astros make the most sense?
From a talent standpoint, I think the Astros are super underrated. The Giants, I think, kind of surpassed all expectations. I mean, most people, I think, predicted them probably 3rd in their own division. So the fact that they won so many games is pretty incredible. I give Gabe Kapler a lot of credit.
Yeah.
But the Dodgers are so deep, and I think you run through that Astros lineup, and you say, well, they got Altuve and Bregman and Correa and Brantley, and their best hitter is Kyle Tucker. He's kind of one of these under the radar guys who's going to hit 7th in the lineup. So they're real deep. Their starting staff is much better than people think. So I think there are a lot of good teams left. It makes for a pretty potent postseason for the fans to kind of get engaged with.
What did you win winning the MVP in 2007?
2 cars. It was pretty good, and a nice little bonus.
2?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was the first time Chevy, they were kind of going through the hybrid. So they gave me a hybrid Tahoe and a hybrid, I think, Chevy Malibu. So
where are they?
I kept the Tahoe. Now, it's been a few years, Dan. So I kept the Tahoe, used that one for a few years. The Malibu, one of my good friend's daughter was going to school, so we kind of worked out a nice little deal for her there. So I can't say I drove the Malibu too much.
What's your favorite story with those Red Sox that you're allowed to tell?
Allowed to tell?
Yeah, because you were under the radar. Like, you didn't make headlines. You just went out there and played every day. You were a baseball player. You had personalities on there.
We did, and I think the best, I guess, story that I could tell is when we got into each city, the coaching staff and the media that belong with the team, that travel with the team, go in one bus, and the players are all on the second bus, and you're all going to the hotel. And David Ortiz always gets on the mic. And first of all, he starts asking the bus driver, do you know who we are? And he starts asking, and, the bus driver, you get very different person. Some guys don't want to talk. Like, yeah, Poppy, I know who you are. And he goes, we got a guy on our team that played with Babe Ruth. His name is Tim Wakefield. So then they start going back and forth, and Wake's in the back. And he's like, why don't you go see a dentist? You got some gap in it. So it was a really good back and forth, probably a little bit not very politically correct in these days. But those stories are good. That's the camaraderie that I think, for me as a former player, I love covering the game and baseball, but those are the times you miss. I don't think people miss the travel. It's kind of like the off the field stuff and, the things you did together as a team.
Did you cowboy up? Did you do shots before postseason games, Mike?
I was not part of Cowboy Up, although Kevin Millar was my teammate with the Marlins for a number of years. I'm not going to say I've never taken a shot before a game. Sometimes when you're in a big slump, Dan, you go to some extreme measures. You got to do it. Maybe a BP little hit was not out of the question, but those were good times. I really felt like in my career, I went from the attendance, the lowest attendance with the Marlins when we're a pretty good team and we're playing in front of 6,000 fans, especially when we're making a little bit of a run, to Boston where every game that I played for 5 years in Fenway was a sellout. It's a pretty cool that's a pretty cool experience.
What's the strangest thing you ever heard when you're playing in front of no crowd, no audience with the Marlins?
Oh, cell phones for me. One was actually the craziest one was right after the hurricanes. I think it was Katrina that went through Florida and, kind of canceled our games. We had to play the Expos in Chicago in Comiskey, whatever it's called now. I don't know. They changed. So imagine that. The Expos that don't draw well, the Marlins that don't draw well, playing a game in Chicago. I think we drew like 800 fans. So there, I do remember a cell phone went off. He's like, yeah, I got great seats. Yeah, Lowell's right there. He's probably not going to hit much today. And I'm like, I can hear you. That's not fair. So yeah, it's much better. 40,000 is much better because everything's just a buzz. You don't really hear when they're criticizing you. So I prefer that.
Before I say goodbye, Vegas still has the Dodgers, the favorites to win it all. You agree?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I love to play blackjack, but I'm not betting on baseball, for whatever reason. They're just so deep. I look at their lineup and they miss Max Muncy, and you look at the lineup they put out there, like, wow, that's a pretty deep lineup for the postseason. So I give them a lot of credit. A lot of people are like, oh, they're just stacking guys, but the ownership is willing to pay the dollars for it. And there are a lot of teams that are in markets that can do the same thing. And the Dodgers find a way. If you told me they were going to pick up Scherzer and Turner at the deadline, I'd say you're crazy. So they go out and do it. They want to win, and they're stacking their team. And I don't have a problem with a team that's willing to spend to make their team as good as possible.
Mike, it's great to talk to you again. Please pass it on to Cliff that you guys did a wonderful job. That was great TV last night, and we'll be watching during the postseason.
I will. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it.
That's Mike Lowell, the Major League Baseball Network analyst, and won the World Series twice and the MVP in 2007.